Nay, Facebook, Braves face crooks, and yay, Spacebook. That's the barest scintilla of what's been going on recently in stuff. Here at Geeks You Drink, we write over 19,000 quiz questions a year, so you think we wouldn't have time to keep up with the news. But guess what, motherfucker? We do it anyway. This is Recently in Stuff. Good afternoon, happy Friday, and welcome to Recently in Stuff, the Geeks Who Drink weekly news quiz. I'm Aaron, and here we go. An article detailing planning sessions and promised pardons for January 6th insurrectionists ran Monday in what magazine? That is Rolling Stone, who published an investigative piece about the participation of GOP congresspeople like Marjorie Taylor Greene, Madison Cawthorn, and Lauren Boebert in planning the storming of the Capitol. The story ran in Rolling Stone's annual Shit You Already Knew issue. Beep, 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 yeah. Next up, a Georgia man is in legal hot water after spending COVID relief funds on what? It was a $57,000 Pokemon card, which earned wire fraud charges for business owner Vinath Odamzine. Now, authorities first became suspicious when Odamzine's loan paperwork listed his company's CFO as Thomas P. Jigglypuff.
I wanna be the very best.
Next up, after a lawsuit against the Colombian government, an Ohio judge granted legal personhood to what? That's cocaine hippos, namely the growing herd originally imported to Colombia by Pablo Escobar in the 80s. Now, after environmental concerns led to a government agency sterilizing some of them, animal rights groups brought a suit in the U.S. to protect the non-native animals. This marks the first time that American courts have done such a thing, but the cocaine hippos are just the beginning. Similar suits have been filed on behalf of heroin marmosets, molly wallabies, and crocodile crocodiles. Moving on to consumer news. A British man has begun a campaign to change what he calls a sexual label on what? That's ketchup. A Hull, England man named Adrian Shan went to a Pizza Hut and was apparently outraged by a ketchup label reading Shake, Squeeze, and Squirt, telling his local paper it sounded like the name of an app for swingers. First of all, not really. The name of an app for swingers is more like big and and also putting and other and .com. But for the bigger picture, he's not entirely wrong, and it's not just the label. I mean, look at this. Sitting there all flirty with those smooth, ketchupy curves. What's that? Oh, no, we couldn't. I gotta shoot this thing. Oh my God, you're so bad. You're so naughty. Oh. Well, that's the sound of a Busch Gardens zookeeper hosing chick tracks out of the Tim Tebow enclosure, which means it's time for the Week in Florida. A Florida lottery winner claimed that he was going to use his winnings to upgrade what personal care item? $1 million lotto winner Brian Nelson said that he was going to buy an electric toothbrush. Oh wow, it's just like that kid's book. You never read that? Oh, it's great. Let's take a look together.
If you give a Floridian $1 million, he'll ask for an electric toothbrush. Once he has his electric toothbrush, he'll probably ask you for an old milk crate to use as a bathroom cabinet. Once he gets his milk crate, he'll want a houseboat on oil barrel pontoons to put it in. Then he'll realize his houseboat is on dry land, so he'll need a gator-infested golf course water hazard to float it in. Once he has his water hazard, he'll probably notice that golfers are yelling at him all the time, so he'll need a pair of nunchucks to scare them off. Once he's finished scaring off golfers, he'll be a little sleepy, so you'll have to fix him up a nice cozy little Waffle House booth for him to nap in for 16 hours or so. He'll crawl in, make himself comfortable, and fluff the basketball shorts he's using as a pillow. He might ask you to tell him a story, so you'll read to him from Aaron Carter's memoirs. He'll get so excited that he'll jump up and run out to the parking lot to fight the first bleach blonde rapper he sees. That bleach blonde rapper will knock all of his teeth out, so after you bail him out, you'll take him to the prosthodontist to get new ones. He'll want to keep his new teeth clean, so he'll ask for an electric toothbrush.
In music news, Dave Grohl revealed recently that the song Learn to Fly is about what? It's about learning to fly. During an appearance on the Kelly Clarkson Show, Foo Fighters frontman Dave Grohl said that at the time he wrote it, he wanted to be a pilot. Oh wow, so now some of other Foo Fighters lyrics make a little more sense. I don't want to be your monkey wrench meant that he didn't want to be your monkey wrench. There goes my hero, watch him as he goes, means that he watched as his hero walked away. And that other song where he's like, Courtney Love had Kurt Cobain killed, la 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 la, that must be about enjoying a delicious ice cream sundae. Moving on, rising costs and supply chain problems have reached paint manufacturers who are running low on what color? It's blue. Damn you, Picasso! No, seriously, paint makers like Sherwin-Williams are reporting that the cost of additives needed for blue paint rose over $300 million in the last year. Now, that sounds kind of silly and low impact, but it's had repercussions across multiple industries, from rising new home prices to flagging ticket sales for the recently rebranded Man Group. Next up, the state of North Carolina is throwing shade at Ohio over new what? That's Ohio's new license plates, which accidentally feature the Wright brothers' plane flying backwards. North Carolina responded with a tweet saying Ohio wasn't there, meaning Kitty Hawk. It's pretty funny and, true, but the quip has raised other license plate-based interstate beefs, like the 49-state class action suit against Oklahoma for false advertising. Moving on to sports. An NFL fan got himself a nice swag box for voluntarily returning the 600th career touchdown ball of what quarterback? That's right, it's Tom Brady. Receiver Mike Evans accidentally gave the historical ball away to Byron Kennedy, who was sweet enough to give it back. In return, he got some signed jerseys, game-worn cleats, and one Bitcoin worth over 60 grand. In related news, Lions quarterback Jared Goff announced that any fan who catches one of his touchdown balls will get a pair of game-worn socks, some Kohl's cash, and a 6-year, $25 million contract. And finally today, on Monday, what company got a surprise $1 trillion valuation? That's Tesla. And if you're anything like me, you find it nearly impossible to wrap your head around how much money $1 trillion is. So I thought maybe we could do a little thought experiment together to help illustrate it. Okay, so say you've got one thing, and that thing is worth $1. For the sake of argument, let's call that thing like a blood emerald. So you have one of them, right? Well, one day your dad buys a blood emerald mine in apartheid South Africa, and now you've got 100,000 of those emeralds. Awesome! But then you have to flee South Africa, because apartheid ends, and come to the United States, and you sell your tech startup for 22 million more blood emeralds. And remember, each blood emerald is worth $1. Then you co-found a banking startup, and that merges with another company, let's call them ShmayPal. And what great luck! You sell Schmapal too and walk away with another 100 million blood emeralds. Nice little stack of blood emeralds you got there. But then you spend 6 million of your blood emeralds to invest in a company that makes, say, electric cars. But then for whatever reason, you get the actual founder of that company kicked out, and you sue to make the company name you as a founder, even though you didn't found him. See, that's a fun little thing you get to do when you have lots of blood emeralds. So anyway, you've got all these emeralds while the company you didn't found makes some cars and sells them for more blood emeralds. And those blood emeralds just keep piling up. You go and smoke weed with a credulous thumb-shaped podcast host? Emeralds. Go on TV as Wario for some reason? Emeralds. Move your factory to Texas to avoid labor laws? That sounds familiar. Emeralds. And anyway, one day you wake up and you're personally worth 250 billion blood emeralds, and somebody says that the company that you didn't found is now worth 1 trillion of those blood emeralds. And remember, in our scenario, each emerald is $1. So, that's 1 trillion. Anyway, I hope that helps. And that's our episode for this week. We'll return next week with more current events trivia. I'll see you then. Hi again, it's Aaron. Just wanted to thank you for watching and say that if you can subscribe, it would help us out a whole bunch, so please do that. You can also check out our other YouTube content in this whole area here. So thank you.